All right, guys, so let's take the Syma S37, this what I call large helicopter. It looks like just a blown up version of the little mini ones that you can buy oftentimes at your local hardware stores and Rule King, like where I've gotten them. And this is a much bigger one. And I've seen similar ones at my local Rule King for around 99 bucks. So this one I think is less than that. Let's go ahead and take it up now and we'll see how it does. Now, you know, the controller says infrared on there. Let's hope it's not. This is gonna be my maiden flight, so we'll see how it goes. I've not flown this at all. It should be 2.4 gigahertz, but you know, I just hope it's not, because infrared does not do well outside, and this is definitely an outside flyer. So take it up here and fly it around. Now I've got this excavator across the street. He's not too loud, but hopefully it's not washing out my my sound. So let's go ahead and we'll plug it in here and we'll turn them on. Go ahead and turn it on. It's flashing. I'm gonna go ahead and set it down here on the ground, and we'll turn on the controller. I'm gonna just see if we have to do any kind of binding here. And let's go ahead and see if I can. There we go. I gave him some throttle, so you get a little bit of throttle, and that'll go ahead and start to fire it up. And then it stops if you don't give it more throttle. So let's go ahead and take it up. Now this is your trim buttons here, as all these two are. Let's go ahead and take it up. Just a 3-channel. I don't see any rates, so it's going to have trouble fighting a lot of wind, because it just says your trim. There's no rate button on this. It seems pretty easy to fly. It's going to be like a lot like those indoor flyers. I'm gonna give it some throttle here. It's pretty slow. And boy, it does not have, man, it is. I charged this battery up. I'm gonna go ahead and land it. Boy, that is, ugh. Can't say I'm overly impressed, guys, with what I've seen so far. I was, at first, it was, you know, thinking it just needed to get used to a little bit. Man, it does not have, you know, it's just a 1-cell lithium-ion battery. And you're powering this rear motor, and of course the main motor, rotor motor. Let's go ahead and put it down again and see, because man, that, you know, it's gyro stabilized, and it should be pretty easy to fly. Now you just got your throttle, and then your pitch and roll here. I mean, it's real basic, you know, control. So let's go ahead and fire it up. You got your forward pitch, and it should say your yaw. So you don't have any roll control. You're just going to yaw with the right stick, which of course is different than your quadcopters. And boy, oh boy, that is just, ugh. Because to me, this is too big for indoors, and it doesn't seem like it is infrared. I mean, it says it's not in the instructions, but this controller says it. It's not acting up on me in terms of control. It's just, I mean, I got throttle all the way up, and this is barely getting off the ground. Oh my God, this thing's terrible. This thing is really, really bad. I'm kind of surprised. Syma usually makes pretty good stuff. I mean, I'm giving it full throttle, and we don't have any kind of flashing lights that let me know that there's any kind of low battery, because sometimes, you know, sometimes all the time you're going to get a blinking light when you get low battery on any of these RCs. And I charged the battery in there, and I had not done anything with it except for power on the lights. So let's go ahead and, so it's okay at first like this. See, that's the highest I've had it. Now I was taking off on a bit of an incline there, so you know, let's see if that could have had any effect. But boy, it is super slow. It looks cool. Very little pitch. It's just like this. It's like I said, it's just like these indoor flyers with these basic controls. But this is too big to fly inside. You're gonna bang into the wall. But look, I can't. I'm gonna, you know, it's sort of supposed to be altitude hold. I'm giving it full throttle here, guys. Ugh. I'm gonna try to land it there. It was going okay for a while. And I was letting off the throttle because I was wanting to hold altitude there. And it didn't start to lose power. This feels severely underpowered is what it feels like. It feels like it needs a 2S LiPo in it, and it just has a 1 cell lithium ion. So let's go ahead and try it again. And give it full throttle. And it's okay at first. I said very little pitch. The yaw responsiveness is really, really good. I've got full throttle and it's coming to the ground. Wow. This thing's terrible. You know, maybe, and I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, the battery in here is not very good. They do give you an extra battery with this. But, you know, typically these batteries are fine. It's a lithium ion. I usually don't have any problems with those. But it's possible, but I mean, even if the battery, let's say, is a problem, it's just so hard to fly. There's so little pitch, it barely moves. It just doesn't go anywhere because it's got such, you know, it doesn't have any power. Like I said, it just reminds me of the indoor flyer. But the indoor one, I can get by with them indoors. And it's rather calm right now. I'm not fighting a bunch of wind or anything. And look, it's holding this altitude just fine right now. I got my hand off the, but as you watch, as it goes along, it's going to start to probably lose altitude at some point, and then I can't. So now it's doing okay, but how long will it do this? I'm going to give it full throttle here, and now look, it's starting to lose its altitude again. Oh man, I mean, I'm giving it full throttle, trying to just barely keep it off the grass. I don't know what's the problem with that. I'm going to try to land it there. Let's try it again and see, because that battery, see, it's just, I don't know. It could be a battery issue, guys. I don't know. There is an extra battery with this. You do have to take this nose off, this piece off, and then you have to take it. You know, it's pretty simple, and you can put an extra battery in there. And like I said, I charged up this one here. I've not used it at all. So, you know, even if this battery were a bit of a problem, this thing is just not going. Even if I had better power, you see, the best you can expect is to float it out there and just barely go along. And if you're outdoors with any wind, this thing's going to be impossible to fly in any wind. And it's rather calm right now. As you can see, I was able to keep it in an area and fly it at times. But I always felt like I'm nervous because I just don't know when it's going to start crashing to the ground. And if a gust of wind had come along, this thing has no way of fighting this. It's like they decided to upscale these indoor flyers and didn't account for a bigger battery or stronger motors or whatever it needs. It really feels like it needs a 2S. So I don't know, man. This thing is just, let's set it down one more time, because I'm not even going to mess with the table review on this. Guys, that's why I kind of started this out as I would my flight review. This isn't even worth the time. It's not even worth the time to fill you guys in, because I cannot recommend it. It's just, now see, we got a little more power now. It just almost feels like the battery gets voltage sag and it becomes to where it just can't maintain enough power. And I really don't think it's a battery problem. I think this is just a poor design, underpowered, and not enough voltage. I mean, look at this. It's just crap. This is terrible. Terrible. Now, I did use the provided charger. It comes with a USB charger for this. And you could certainly use a hobby grade really easily with this red JST plug, because I'll show you guys here a little bit about this, since we're not going to mess with the table review. On and off switch here on the side. You can just unplug this. Now, if you want to get into the lithium ion battery, you pull this off, and here it is. And you can, rather easily get this out and replace it with the extra one, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. It could, like I said, it might fly a bit better on the other battery, but I really feel like this is just a design issue. Just underpowered, not enough. They need a 2-cell battery, I think. This thing would be so much better, though it just doesn't have enough pitch to fight the wind. And of course, you're kind of crippled with 3-channel yaw, pitch. You know, if it had more helicopter controls, it'd be easier if you know, to fly this. If you had more controls, well, obviously it'd be a little bit more advanced for a beginner. All right, guys, end of the day, I cannot recommend this. I'm really disappointed. I thought this was going to be a blast. This was not fun at all. And this thing, I thought this was like 80 bucks. I mean, it's not cheap because of its size. You're just better off to get a little one like this from Syma, which are fine for indoor flying. If you want a bigger one, you know, look for a hobby grade, bigger helicopter from the hobby vendors. You're going to have to spend more money, but at least, you know, it's probably going to work well. This is just terrible. This is one of the worst RC things I've flown in a long time, and don't have a lot of experience with helicopters, but the little indoor ones were fine, even though they were slow because you were indoors. But this is just awful, and I just can't recommend it at all. All right, guys, that wraps up this little mini flight review of this big Syma, what was it, the S37 helicopter. Can't recommend it at all. But be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Click that bell so you know when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.